Welcome to the Process of Purpose podcast. Again, we're here to help inspire and motivate people to find their purpose through the process of spirituality, health, and wealth using godly principles and values to break through to the life that God has called us to live. Thank you again for being on the Process of Purpose podcast. This is the Process segment, and today we're actually be having a Q&A on the Process segment, and we had amazing people submit some questions, so we answered them, and it was a great episode. Share this with somebody. Here's the episode. Today we're gonna have a Q&A, and so with this Q&A, it's not a live Q&A. What it actually is I had posts on my Facebook and Instagram, and I asked people to ask me a couple of questions. Say, hey, what's on your heart? What have you been wanting to ask me? What do you want to know about? Anything I can help you with? So I had a couple of people reach out, and guys, I have some pretty awesome questions here. Like, at first I was a little nervous. I was like, what if nobody asked questions? And actually people started reaching out, asking some really awesome questions. So I'm excited for it. I want to thank you guys, for those of you that did reach out. Thank you for being so amazing and putting it out there. I'll try to use some names, not use all of them, just to keep people's questions private. Some people, I know they don't care. I'm going to say their names. And some people have asked. So if I say your name, I'm sorry. And I wasn't supposed to. But I'm super excited to get going. So again, for this process thing, I was actually, like a couple of days ago, I was actually thinking of taking just a week off just to kind of just reevaluate what we're doing on the podcast. Not because I wanted to stop or anything, none of that, but I just been really backed up with posting the actual podcast, and I've been making excuses not to buy the external hard drive because I've ran out of space on my laptop. But that's my fault. So I'm gonna get right into it. But God told me, hey, no, you're doing it. So I'm pushing through on another Tuesday, and I'm super excited for this one. This one might actually go a little bit longer than we expect. But guys, I actually answer the questions in the order they came in. So if you ask me later in the day, then it's going to be towards the bottom of the list. Okay, so I'm going to try to get through them as soon as possible. I'm gonna try to make this 25, 30-minute podcast, not too long, but we have some really good questions. I hate these beats, man, because then I feel like suffocated. Go Broncos, even though they're terrible right now. And that's going to be in the questions, by the way. So first question, and this is by my boy Santi. What is something that I want to accomplish by the end of the year? So something that I want to, me, Robert Cedeno, want to accomplish by the end of the year. I really have a lot of things I want to accomplish, but I really cut them down into 3 goals, right? So I have my wealth goal, my fitness goal, and then just my social media presence goal. And I felt like that because I used to have like 20 of them before, and it wasn't really working out for me. Like I'd write literally 2 pages of goals, and I felt it was overwhelming. So what I decided to do is I decided to cut it down to 3, and then I added my mission statement and about my relationship with my wife. So I literally write down the 5 same things every single day, and I'll get into a little bit what I write. We have a couple of questions regarding that. So yeah, man. So what I want to accomplish by the end of the year, there's not really this one thing that I really want to accomplish. I know this sounds really cheesy, but I just want to be better. I want to be better than I was yesterday. I want to be better than I am now. So that's why I'm doing all these like new discipline things, like the 122 challenge. I'm actually tracking a lot of things that I wasn't tracking before, like open houses, doing different things with my wife it's gonna help us have a successful marriage. And I'm looking this way because it's over here, and so I want to be more disciplined by then. That's a goal. I want to be more disciplined. I want to be more efficient. All right. I'm starting to figure out the whole committed part. And being persistent and consistent, I'm starting to get that down, but I just want to be that much more disciplined than I am today. So I really hope that answers your question, because I know by the end of the year, new goals are going to come, right? And yeah, looking at it in a year is super awesome, but at the same time, I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on becoming a better person by the time January comes and I get to reevaluate everything and set new goals and see where I finished off the year. So it's super exciting actually. So thanks for that question, Santi. And Santi's like on day 20 something on the 122 challenge, and he's been doing a great job. Santi, keep posting it on your story, brother. Keep putting it out there. Let's keep encouraging people. Let's keep motivating people, inspiring people to get going, to become disciplined. It's something that people struggle with, and that's something I'm looking to master. Really, I feel like God's just like, hey man, I need you to master something. You're good at giving hugs, you're good at smiling at people, but I need you to be more disciplined, and that's something that the 122 challenge, and now tracking certain things has really gotten me to. Now the next question, from my boy Andrew Chavez: why do the Broncos suck? As you can tell, I'm wearing a Broncos hat. As you can tell, I love the Broncos. Some good coffee. But honestly, bro, I told you I'd answer every single question. And I know I owe him some coffee because I told him, we bet coffee on it, basically. But we're buying it from the kids' ministry, so all the proceeds go to the kids' ministry. But honestly, bro, and I hate to say this, but the coaching is really bad. Like, I feel like we do have the right players. I feel like we have the right systems. I think just the coaches have been making some, like, hideous calls, man. And I don't like to blame coaches because I've been a coach before. I coached football for 5 years, and so that's kind of like a sensitive spot for me. But I really believe that something has to change with the coaching. Like, it's been that bad. So yeah, they do suck right now. They're 2-4. Could easily be 4-1 right now. They should be. They got blown out by the Jets, but the other games that they've actually lost, they've been there with the Chiefs and the Rams. I forget who else they lost to. Oh man, I think it was the Ravens. Yeah, they should have beat the Ravens too. Ravens are a solid team though. All right. Well, thank you, Andrew, for that question, and you will be getting your coffee this Sunday from the cafe at church. You're welcome. Now going to my boy Hyman Behar. Well, how did I mess that one up? And my boy actually has some good questions for me. Some are pretty funny. I like his humor. So and then he threw in some serious questions in there. So that's why I like my boy Hyman. He's always wanting to have fun, but at the same time he wants to stretch people. He wants to encourage people. So if you're not following him, follow him now. He's been doing amazing things. He's lost almost 100 pounds. He's like, just go check it out. Believe me, it's worth it. So where's the best coffee from? So I'm going to give him a shameless plug because I am drinking his coffee right now from Macari Royale. If you guys haven't tried it out, it's awesome. And bro, I have not signed up for the membership because on the priority list, it's like right in the middle right now. And I've been taking care of things on top. I've been really busy. But I will get to it. And it's actually so good. It's way better than Starbucks. And I'm spending less money. I've already made like 4 pots, right? So 4 pots times $4, that's $16, right? And you get this for a good deal, depending on which one you buy. So go check it out. And next question by Hyman Behar. And guys, feel free to throw in some comments in there, share this, tag somebody on it. We're here to have fun, but we're here also to encourage each other and really learn from one another. So so another question Jaime asked me is 215 by Thanksgiving or bust. So basically he's asking me if I'm going to be 215 pounds by Thanksgiving, right? Which is a good landmark. Right now I'm a little under 225, but my answer is yes. I have 6 weeks to do it. I am going to go on a vacation. We're going to go to Denver again to watch the Broncos play for our anniversary. So it's going to be our anniversary first year of being married. So I know that we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to eat a lot of food. That's just what my wife and I do. We just like to eat. It's just not our fault. Like, I don't know. I don't want it. No, but really, like, we just eat a lot. So, well, I eat a lot. She tries to keep up, but she's a little thing. So, but I'm going to commit it to it. I'm not going to go like, super all out like that. I'm going to try to contain myself. I am going to have a lot of ice cream and stuff like that, but I'm going to try to count my calories. So I've actually committed to counting my calories every single day and posting my weight on social media. So ever since I started doing that, I've lost about like 2.5, 3 pounds. So just by, no one even knows, but I'm just holding myself accountable. I'm gaming the system in a sense where I'm basically I'm leveraging Instagram right now to get to where I want to be, which is 190, right? That's where I want to get down to. But yeah, no, I am going to get down to 215 by Thanksgiving, and I'm going to try to hold it there. I'm trying to, like, even with Thanksgiving, my birthday, I'm not going to try to go over 220. So 215 it is, man. Let's get it. And I'm really motivated, man. Like I said, tracking and posting. What's your yearly income goal? Woo! And I told them I would answer everything. So, and I'm not afraid to share this. As you guys know, I reach for the stars every single time. Something that I just do. I overcommit and I try to figure out the rest later. And everything that I do, I'm not shy about it. But my income goal for the year is 200,000. Am I close to that? Nowhere near, nowhere close. But my mind is set on 200,000. I don't know how close I'm gonna get to it. I don't know if I'll meet it or not. But I'd much rather fall short at 200,000 than set a goal at 80,000 or 100,000 and fall short from there. Does that make sense? That's kind of the way my mind thinks. Not that I'm planning to fall short, because then that wouldn't make very, very much sense, but I'm okay with it. It's kind of weird, but I'm putting it down in paper that I'm going to make 200,000 this year. Where, I started off with $22 in my pocket at the beginning of this year, and I've shared that and I'm open about it. And, I've never made over 45,000 in a year before, till this year. So, I got the work cut out for me, but so if you guys are thinking another shameless plug, if you guys are thinking of buying or selling, you want to hook a brother up, you want to get me connected. I promise I wear suits a lot. I don't always wear hats. Let's get people going. So there you go, bro. 200,000. God's just really been blessing our finances. It's not really anything that I've been doing. It's really just I was faithful, and God just decided to say, hey, you know what? You've been faithful. Here you go. Keep doing what you're doing. So that's I think that's what's gotten us to this point, and I feel like God's really put 200,000 in my heart, and we'll see if we get there. All right. How many people do you want to help through the process? This is also with from Jaime Behar, process of purpose. I see what you're doing here, bro. How many people do you want to help through the process? Well, I really feel like God has called me to bring 1 million people to have a relationship with Christ. I don't know what that looks like, really. I don't know if it's through the podcast, through social media, through speaking. Well, before we go any further, I feel like it's 1 million people, right? But today, I actually went to a class that we're doing at the church. It's called Preaching Rocket. And it's kind of a win for me today because I failed terribly. Like, I did so bad. So bad. Like, I feel like my classmates, right? Because this is a bunch of people I go to church with. They're my friends. They were like embarrassed for me. And they're like, that pity clap, you know what I'm saying? But it was a blessing because I failed so bad. And I really love failing because I know that I could only get better. And it's kind of a slap in the face. It's like, hey, did you prepare? And I really felt like I did. I read over my notes probably like 30 times. I recorded myself saying it, listened to it to another about 25 times. So I really felt prepared. But I showed up and I just blew it. I think I was the worst person in that whole group. And I'm one of the older ones too. But like I always say, you see my worried face? I don't have one. I really don't. And it's not because I'm cocky or none of that. I just don't worry about it. I was upset for maybe 30 minutes and I said, all right, well, let's move on. Let's get better. Why am I going to cry about it? Get better. You sucked. Yes, I did. But you're at the bottom right now because there's no way you could get any worse than you were at that moment. You could only go up from here. So that's my mindset on that. But going back to, how many people I'm going to help, I don't know if that 1 million people is like the first stage or if that's the total or, I don't know. I don't know where God's going to take me. So right now I'm writing that down every single day on my notes, that I'm going to that I'm going to be used to help bring 1 million people to have a relationship with Christ. So that's how many people I want to help through the process. And it's funny because people ask me all these questions about my goals, and I know, because I write them down every single day. 1 million people, 200,000. I want to have an intentional, amazing, blessed, God-centered marriage, right? Because I write these things down. I'm intentional about it. And then I think he was just like goofing off on this question. This is also from Jaime. This is Raiders versus Broncos. Who you got? Come on, Papa. I got the Broncos, man. As you can tell, Raiders, they're just terrible. And I love messing with Raider fans. And this year, they're probably the worst team in the NFL. And their front office is even worse. So you guys did a great job. Today I actually heard someone talking smack about the Bears and how everyone says they're going to go to the Super Bowl because they got Khalil. I'm like, bro, you just mad because you got rid of Khalil Mack, you know? Whatever, we could get into that another time because I love to talk smack about the Raiders. And everybody knows that. And thank you, Jaime, for all the great questions, man. Coffee's great. Go check it out, Okai Royale. Feel free to post it on there. I'm sure you're on right now. You got to clear the throat. All right, now for some serious questions. No, I'm kidding. Had to clear the throat. But Dylan, right? So I'm gonna try not to use all the names moving forward. But Dylan asked me this question. One of my really, really, really good friends. How do you manage it all? And it's really it's a vague question, but it's a really powerful question, right? It's like, what do you see as all? Like your whole life? Ooh, no, but really, I start off by listing my priorities, right? So what we try to do in this life, right? We have our list of priorities, but we should list the non-negotiables, right? Something that, if it's not aligned to what God has called me to do, then I'm not doing it. And what I've learned, it's okay to say no. I think that's how I managed to do it. I tend to say no to certain things. Even though I want to say yes every single time, I'm learning how to say no when it's not aligned with my top priorities, right? So my top priorities is God, one. Then it's my wife. And then I have it listed down right here just to make sure. Then it's the mission, right? The mission that God has put in my heart. And then it's ministry. Serving. That's like serving because the mission and ministry, they kind of go hand in hand. But I've learned to say no to certain ministry because we had to pull back a little bit and really friends and family. Besides that, anything outside of that, hey, let's go to in mission that's like business. That's business. That's the podcast. That's like me encouraging people. That's all in the mission. Me being a great husband. That's all in the mission, right? And then it's ministry. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but we've had to walk away from certain ministries leading because it was starting to become overwhelming, right? So we all know we have different seasons in life, and we've been in the season where we were serving in everything, part of 3 life groups, serving. We're leading First Wednesday, leading First Service, leading at Access, leading youth. We're doing all these things, and that was okay for that season. But now we're shifting our focus, and I'm shifting my focus into my marriage and into the mission where God has called me to be, while still putting more attention to my ministry in First Service, right? My wife and I, we lead First Service, so we want to put a lot more effort into that instead of being so scattered. So I hope that really answered the question, Dylan. How do I manage it all? I set my priorities, I stick to them, and I've learned that saying no is okay. So sometimes I know my boy Dylan. I'm gonna just throw it out there, Dylan, because I love you, man. Dylan's boom, I'll do it. I'll get it done. I'll get it done, guy. Boom, I'll get it done. I'll get it done. But that can become overwhelming, right? It's okay to get help from certain people. And also just know that that's okay for a season, but you can get burned out by doing that. So thanks for that question, man. That was actually really good. When I read that off, my wife's like, wow, that's a really good one. I was like, yeah, I know. It's one of my favorites. A lot of these were really good, but that was definitely one of my favorites, man. So, yeah, take time and reflect and see what you're doing. Set your priorities, have non-negotiables, and just learn how to say no to certain things and certain people. Like, hey, you want to go out, you want to go to this conference in Vegas. I've gotten things like that, and it's just not aligned to where my priorities are at the moment. Hey, maybe in the future when my wife isn't working, we can take a trip to Vegas and join these conferences. Not that like we'll join in other things, right? Because that's just not our thing. So you know what I mean. Thanks for that, bro. Love that question, man. That was awesome. Victoria, what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur? Woo. Well, I want to say, Victoria, right now I'm in like the early stages yeah, I guess technically I am considered an entrepreneur, but I think until I start paying somebody, until I start having payroll, then that's when I really become an entrepreneur, a real entrepreneur. But right now I'm in the baby stages of becoming an entrepreneur. But with being an entrepreneur, one of the it's a blessing and a curse is your schedule, right? You have the freedom of schedule. And that could be a great thing, but at the same time, it's something that I've struggled with because I have a lot of free time. So I need to know how to structure my day. And that's where all these disciplines are starting to come in and all this tracking. And so now, like, I'm starting to build some real momentum right now, some good momentum. And also, just, I think my favorite thing of like starting out in business and becoming an entrepreneur is failing. And it sounds so weird. You're like, what, bro? You like to fail? That's your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur? Yes, I love to fail. Because why? Because I become better. God allows me to learn from the mistakes that I've had. Just like today. Today was a great example of it. Learn from it and become better after, and become stronger, and become more confident, more courageous. So that's probably the best thing that comes from being an entrepreneur, is learning how to love failure, and also just knowing that you're building something, right? Something that it might get rough, it might get tough in some seasons, but you're building something for the future, for generations to come. And I feel like it's giving me a lot of freedom, even with the podcast. If I was working a 9 to 5, clocking in, clocking out, I probably wouldn't do this and be able to put as much time as I want. And I'm still like not putting the time that I really want into it, but it's giving me that freedom, and I'm able to pick and choose who I work with. So, yeah, no, I think that I hope that answered your question. The best thing about being an entrepreneur. But Victoria, if I can just share with you, just keep doing it. Keep posting, right? It's okay to post about both, your business and family. Mix it up. People, even with real estate, people don't want to hear just about real estate. People are like, oh, there he goes with the real estate post again. So you have to have a mixture of both your life, and don't quit. You're gonna hit these tough times. Like Victoria, I went 8 months without a paycheck, and I know God took me through that time so I can see, right? I could see what type of fruit was going to come out from the seed I was planting in all that time. So right now you're probably in the stage of your business where you're planting a bunch of seeds. So keep on planting, keep on planting. Don't stop planting. And don't worry about the harvest. The harvest is going to come. It's not going to come tomorrow. It might not come next week. It might not come next year. But if you don't give up, if you stay consistent and persistent, you will see the fruit of what you've been sowing this whole time. So I really encourage you, Victoria, just keep pushing through. And I love what you're saying. I mean, I love what you're doing with your whole candy thing. And I just haven't seen you at church, girl. I hope I see you at church pretty soon. But I know you're young, so keep on pushing through. Awesome question, guys. You guys are doing great. I know. I really can't. I wish I could see the comments right now. Like, I really want to log on to Facebook and see what's going on. I don't know if there's any comments at all because I really can't tell. But I hope you guys are getting something out of today. And then I'm gonna keep the next name private just because I don't really know how they would feel about sharing it. But it was a great question. Great question. How has your life changed since you started going to church? Man, that's a really loaded question right there. So I'm gonna try to keep it as short as I can, but at the same time answer your question. So I used to have a perception of church, right? I used to think, well, it's all these judgy people in the same spot, and they're, you have certain rules that you can't do this, you can't drink, like, and it's not even about that at all, right? My life has changed because I'm saved, because I was able to give God everything, right? So I feel redeemed. I feel like this burden off my back because now I have a relationship with God and I know what that looks like. So it has like just spilled into everything in my life. I know that I am loved. I know that I'm enough, right? I know that I've been called to be great. And going back to like being an entrepreneur, something that's changed is I started going to church, which church is not the thing. It's the relationship with Christ. Was God literally like from thin air, say podcast, from thin air, or quit your job. Like this was like almost 3 years ago that I quit my job and I had like no money. Like I had nothing. Like I was like, all right, God, I'm just going to follow. Like, so God has really just instilled faith in me to say, you know what? I know you're going to follow me, but just have faith and trust that I'm leading you in the right direction. So now I really have that purpose in life. That's what I found going to church, and I was able to marry my best friend without having a relationship with Christ. I know Crystal, just being the woman of God that she is, that's one of her non-negotiables, like we talk about, and I wanted that. And so I've gotten a great marriage out of it. I'm saved. I'm excited about heaven. I'm excited about all these things that are going on. And now I used to be really angry before. I used to be mad. I used to be, I used to drink, do drugs, smoke a lot of weed. I used to do all these things before. And I was allowing that to, like I was putting a label on myself, and I was allowing that to dictate my whole life. Where now I just focus on loving on people, on sharing what God has done in my life. And I'm super excited about it. Like I know 3 years ago, I would not think I'd be right here, speaking in front of you guys right now on the mic, speaking about God and just really what he's doing in my life. So, Cielo, I hope, oh gosh, there goes the name. I dropped the name. I hope that really answered your question. Feel free to reach out to my wife and I. And again, it's not about church. It's about really the relationship with Christ that you're building, right? And what he can do in your life. Like it's crazy. If you would have known me from like way back then to now, you're like, no way, dude, this is crazy. So thank you for that question. Super awesome. I was trying not to like go too deep on that one, but I hope I answered it well. Next one is from my boy Adam. Yep, I already said the name, so we're going with it. I won't say the last name, but what are some of the biggest struggles you had to overcome in your relationship with your wife while you were dating? Ooh, that's actually an excellent question, and I know this could be like a whole other segment by itself. So I'm gonna again go right through it. So, what I think things we struggle with, it wasn't so much with her and I as we were dating. It was more personal struggles, like just being abstinent to a marriage was really hard on me because I never experienced that, right? So having to wait to have sex till marriage was really hard, and that kind of spilled over into the marriage where like it became hard because I put it in my mind that it was such a bad thing. It was such a bad thing, but in reality, it's a beautiful thing done in the right context, which is with marriage, right? Under God's umbrella. So there's still a lot of things that I was going through. I wasn't financially ready certain times, so we had to go through those seasons. I was still going through the process of saying like, hey, is this really what I want to do? Is this God thing real? This was like early struggles, right? So we got to a point where Crystal actually kind of called, like, just say, hey, you know what? It's better if we're just friends. And I was like, man, and actually pray to God, like, hey, God, like, man, if this is where you want me to be, I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but this is where you want me to go, like, I'm ready. And sure enough, we end up getting engaged, getting married. But we didn't really have any struggles. And I know Crystal shared recently with me was, that she was a little frustrated with me when we weren't financially there and we're getting married, and I didn't have a job really. I was just starting out in real estate. Like, all these things were going through her head, and I'm always like, all right, I'm just gonna overcommit and figure out the rest later. So that's probably another thing, like, just the mindset. We were in two different places. So we had to come together. But one thing that I encourage you guys to do is pray together. That really helped us, is praying together, even though it felt weird to me at first. Now we do it every single night without fail. But pray together, pray for each other. And there's a difference, right? Because we say, oh, hey, we're going to pray for, I'm praying for you, I'm praying for our relationship, but we really don't do it. So I really encourage you guys, pray for your relationship, pray for your family, start praying. You guys don't understand how strong prayer is sometimes. I'm sure some of you might, but for the most part, yeah, man, I think that's the, and stay abstinent, man. It's the best thing you can do. It's so beautiful once you're married, bro. So that's the best advice I can give you. I hope I answered your question, man. And again, thank you for reaching out, man. That took a lot of courage, bro, because a lot of people are going through the same problem. So I'm glad you shared that, so we can go ahead and try to encourage other people to do the same thing. And then this is from my buddy Jeff, right? So these are going to be the last two questions. He sent them personally. He said, how do you inspire people to become closer to God? And I really thought about this question for like a quick second, actually. I really thought about, like, man, that's actually a really tough question. Like, how do I inspire people, right? Because that's part of what I say at the beginning of every podcast, to help inspire and motivate people, right? Because my goal is to bring 1 million people to have a relationship with Christ. So how do I inspire people? And I started thinking about it, and I said, with my actions. That's it. It's nothing about what I say, but more about how I treat my wife, the type of husband I am, the man I am, right? The character that I have, the integrity, loyalty, the respect I have for people, the love that I show for people. I want God to use me as a vessel, right? Because I can do all this mouth work and it mean nothing if I'm not applying anything that I'm actually saying, or that I'm learning, or I'm reading. That's going to speak more than just talking, right? Talk is cheap. I'd rather walk the walk and let God do the rest. But I want people to say, man, like, I remember Robert, man. I used to see him. He used to get really drunk. It was pretty bad. Like, he wanted to fight people all the time. And he used to smoke a lot of weed, and he used to do drugs, and he used to do all these good stuff. But now look at him. What changed? And it wasn't me. It was the work that God was doing in my life. So that's how I inspire people to become closer to God, Jeff. So if you have any questions about God, man, just reach out to me. I don't know everything. I guarantee you I don't. I never will know everything. But I've experienced a lot of things in the last 3 years that can really, help you guys out, man. So, and another thing, again, going down, I pray for people. I pray for people. I pray for people, and I pray for people. And it's funny because when I tell people, hey, man, I'm praying for you, I actually mean that I'm praying for you. I wrote it down on my journal that I'm praying for you. So, Jeff, I'll be praying for you, man. I appreciate that question, man, because it's not easy to ask that. And then I asked you if I could share your name, and you said, yeah, man, go ahead. And then the last question here, what do you do when you feel distant from God? This one was really hard for me, because ever since I started my relationship with God, I haven't really felt distance this whole time, right? I felt like I've been getting closer. It's been little incremental steps, but I've been getting closer to God. I've never really felt this distance from God prior to my relationship with him. Before, it was distance for sure, but there was nothing there, right? On my end. On his end, he loved me, but on my end, I was distant. So I would say, become intentional about speaking to him. Say, hey, I don't know what's out there, but you haven't heard from me for a while, God. And I just want to ask you, are you out there? Where do you want me to be? Where do you want to lead me? Why have I been going through this? And when I start thinking of things like that, like why, like God, I needed you at this time, right? Like I do get those feelings because I do. I'm human, right? I needed you at this time. Why don't I have any of the finances? Like why can't I provide for my wife? This is, before we got married, I'm like, or my future wife, like, why am I struggling with this? Because I struggle with things every single day still, right? And I ask God, like, why do I struggle with things? But God's not going to give me anything that I can't handle. So when I start thinking of stuff like that, I think of the poem, right? I don't know if you guys heard the poem of the footprints on the sand, but basically this guy's like talking to God, and he said, God, like, why every time, I see two footprints or two set of footprints on the sand, when everything's going good, but every time something becomes hard or becomes tough, I only see one. Why do you leave me? And I may not be getting this right, but I know where I'm going with it. Why do you leave me? Why am I alone? And Jesus tells him, well, when you see one pair of footprints going down the sand, that's me carrying you. And that makes me think like, man, God's been there the whole time. There's no more two set of footprints because God is carrying me. He's not going to give me anything that I can't handle. I don't know if I went a little too deep on that one, but yeah, man. That's what you do, is you seek him. And you say, here, God, I know we've been distant. I know I haven't been here, but can you just carry me right now? Can you just lift me up? Because I can't do it on my own strength. I've been trying to do it on my own strength, and it hasn't been working. So let me just give it all to you, God. And that's how you do it, man. So I hope that answered your question. If not, we'll have a chat. Me and Jeff are working on something together. So good things are coming, man. So hey guys, I really appreciate you guys taking the time and asking these questions. If I really didn't answer it, please reach out to me. Or if you have any other questions that you like to ask my wife and I, or just me or just her, whatever the case is, reach out to us. Reach out to my cousin Frank. If you've been thinking of going to our church, come on by. It's not a cult. We're not weird. We just want people to experience the same love that we've been experiencing from God. So I really encourage you guys, share this with somebody. Really awesome questions, man. I'm really impressed with you guys, and I really feel like God just put that in your heart. So thank you guys for being so amazing. Thank you guys for always being on. Again, go to iTunes, go to Stitcher, Spotify, everywhere you can listen to podcasts. Subscribe to our podcast, The Process to Purpose. Give us a 5-star rating. And again, we're doing this organically. We don't do any ads. We don't pay people to run our ads. Nothing. We do this all organically. So if you guys can screenshot maybe on your story, just screenshot our podcast that you're listening, tag us on it, and we'll reach out and give you a big thank you. So you guys are amazing. And again, if nobody loves you, Jesus loves you. Have a good one, guys.